Today I'm going to talk about one of the most philosophical anime of all time, Psycho Pass. One of the reasons why Psycho Pass became so good is cause of this handsome devil. He is the main villain of Psycho Pass, and we all know how much of an impact can a villain have on a particular franchise. They give depth to the story and add different perspective to it. We all remember the iconic role by Heath Ledger in the Dark Knight movie as Joker. He was one of the main reasons why it became such a huge success. While we are talking about villains, the list won't be complete without mentioning these legends. So what makes Shogo Makishima better than these two legends?
You dare challenge Megamind?
This town isn't big enough for two supervillains.
Oh, you're a villain, all right. Just not a super one.
Yeah? What's the difference?
Presentation!
For those who don't know what Psycho Pass is an anime set in a futuristic Japan where everything is controlled by an omniscient computer called Sibyl System. In this world, Sibyl System decides everything about you, what profession you are going to choose, whether someone is a criminal or not, or if someone can be a criminal in the future or not.
Into whatever job the Sibyl System thinks they're right for. And yet here you are, with all the options in the world, talking about making sense of your life and finding out your purpose in the universe. I got flagged in a psychopath test when I was 5 years old, labeled as a latent criminal ever since.
Sibyl System computed that he will be a criminal in the future while he was only 5 years old. It does that by doing a cymatic scan of your brain and computing a score which is called Psycho Pass.
By reading a bioorganism's force field using a somatic scan, some very smart people have found a way to analyze a person's mind. The intelligence of science finally uncovered the secret of our soul.
So let's try to make sense of how justice would look in a place like this. So let's say hypothetically that children who have green hair are more violent and more rebellious. So it's found that 1 out of 100 children who have green hair are involved in mass shooting. So is it okay to arrest children with green hair to stop this mass shooting? Like, no, it doesn't make any sense because the probability is 0.01. But what if you know that the probability of a particular student getting involved in a mass shooting is 99.9%? Will you arrest them? Psycho Pass takes it to the next level. To understand how it does that, we have to understand how our brain works and how decisions are formed.
Scientists today think there are two systems in the brain. The first system is us. That little voice in our heads, those emotions we feel, all those thoughts we think. It's the stuff we're actually aware of. When we make a decision, this is the system where we like to think it happens, but that's not entirely the case. Below this system is another system, a huge latticework of neurons that controls everything from spatial processing to breathing. Importantly, this second system is a black box. No matter how much armchair philosophizing we do, we can't penetrate it. And this is where the science of free will comes in.
In 1980s, Benjamin Libet conducted a series of experiments in which he told the subjects to flinch their wrist at a particular time of their choosing. He recorded the electrical impulse from their brain and called them readiness potential and compared it with the time the subject believed that they made the decision to flinch their wrist. Result showed that the readiness potential preceded the subject awareness of making the decision by 0.5 seconds. In other words, the decision to flip their wrist happened somewhere in their unconscious brain 0.5 seconds before the thought they made the decision. Other researchers have done similar experiments in a better controlled environment, and all of them seems to kind of get the same conclusions. So this begs the question, if decision making happens somewhere in our unconscious brain, are we really in control of the choices we make? In psychopaths, Sibyl system acts as our unconscious brain, understanding the inner working of our brain that we ourselves don't understand, and making the choice which is right for us. This is where the concept of free will comes into picture, and this is what Shogo Makishima is fighting for. So let's take a deeper look at the antagonist of the story. So what makes Makishima so understandable is his philosophy. Life needs free will and excitement. World created by Sibyl system is the one where you don't have to deal with intense emotions like anxiety, stress, and hardship, but also you miss out on extreme happiness, doing things that are fulfilling, achieving great things. Sibyl's job is to not only regulate your thought but also regulate the things that can affect your thought. Its job is to make sure that you're not in a bad headspace so that you don't become a criminal or be a threat to other or in a suicidal phase. Like someone who has been through bad relationship, they don't let people get close to them. It prevents them from further heartbreaks, but it also prevents them from forming a connection, connecting them on a deeper level. It prevents that sense of purpose, the highs of life. Let's talk about all of this in a literal sense. In the world of psychopaths, all the mood regulators and stress control have actually made nervous system shut down because body doesn't have to deal with stress, so it's think that it's dying down, turning them into vegetable. Humans need purpose in life, that drive, something to do that's fulfilling, and to remove that catharsis entirely just cause some people can commit crime is such an extreme take on safety that it actually sacrifices what it means to be a human. Makishima wants to wake people up, show that they are no more than living zombie and that they are slave to mediocrity and false sense of purposeness. Other than his philosophy, his charisma and knowledge makes him such a wonderful character to watch. This is the first scene between him and his arch rival.
Justice is subject to dispute. Might is easily recognized and is not disputed. So we cannot give might to justice because might has gainsaid justice.
I'm sorry, but I have long since learned as a measure of elementary hygiene to be on guard when anyone quotes Pascal.
I had a feeling you'd say that. Ortega, right? If you had quoted Pascal to me, I would have come back at you with the same rejoinder.
This is such a great scene. It not only shows that Makishima is not a lunatic criminal, but he is a knowledgeable character who knows what he is doing. I like how Makishima doesn't hide the literature from he is inspired, but he actually embraces it.
This quote from Titus Andronicus. And so should I rob my sweet sons of their fee? No, let them satisfy their lust on thee.
What is this?
The hunt is up. The morn is bright and gray. The fields are fragrant and the woods are green. Uncouple here, and let us make a bay. They told me here at dead time of night, 1,000 fiends, 1,000 hissing snakes, 10,000 swelling toads, as many urchins would make such fearful and confused cries. Like the doctor in Balna Barbie.
I'm not familiar.
It's a reference to Gulliver's Travels by Jonathan Swift. It's in part 3. Balna Barbie is where Gulliver visits after the floating island of Laputa. To put an end to partisan politics, a Balna Barbian doctor develops a surgery for politicians. He'll remove the brains of each partisan and cut them in half. Then he'll sew the halves into new brains, and once placed back in the politicians' heads, they will produce moderation as well as regularity of thinking. It's for the self-absorbed lot, people who come into this world only to watch and govern its motion. Swift writes that this is the most desirable approach to government.
You're a genius at sarcasm, Shogo.
That's too much credit. The genius is Swift.
Psychopaths has many more perspectives which can be discussed at a great length, but this is all from me for this episode.
Everyone is alone. Everyone's empty. We don't really need each other anymore. With so much at our fingertips, we can find a spare for any talent. Any item, any piece of knowledge, any relationship can be replaced with a simple search and a click. I'd become bored of a world like that. But for some reason, some feeling I can't explain, the thought that someone other than you might kill me